All right. So now remember, guys, I don't care about your rounding. All right? I don't care. If I put 80.45, for example, which is what I'm writing for the first one, and you have 80.5, you're right. Okay? Everybody understand? I don't care about rounding. We are not putting a probe on the planet Pluto. You can be out a decimal or two. Okay? Everybody good? All right. So that's 80.45 kilometers. This is 3.81 meters. But you will start to notice a pattern. I often use two decimal places. 150 meters to yards is 164 with some decimal places, but I can't remember what it was. 50. Oh, it's like 164.0. This is... Oh, I lie. I'm the worst kind of liar. I'm doing this wrong. Sorry. This is... I have a different paper. See, mine doesn't go in the same order as your guys's. This is 3.81. This is 7.4. Sorry. This is 164. This is 182.88 or something. This is 15.61 or something like that. And this is 773.78 or something like that. Anybody need any of that explained? You follow the same rules. That's all you do, no matter what. Doesn't matter what you're converting. If you want to know if the bacon you're buying is cheaper at Safeway or Save on Foods, you do the same thing. You make this conversion. Cool? Okay. Do you want to ask about one of them? Because I've only written the answers. I haven't shown you the fraction that I set up. I asked it.
It's okay if you, like for the, is it Imperial? Do you have to have a fraction? Like you have to convert it to a fraction? Like
I don't care.
Okay.
Right? Because the point is, are you setting up your fraction correctly? Right? Sometimes I'll ask you to. Like, for example, the very last question in this about how far I drove, it says answer to the days, minutes, and seconds, or days, minutes, and hours. Then you got to work out those decimals.
Yeah.
So every so often I'll ask you to, just to keep you on your toes. How far did I drive? 18,000, what was it, 889? 897? 897. And if I drove an average of 85 kilometers, how long did my trip take? So what do I do with 18,897? I divide by 85, right? And that gets me how many hours? Something like 222.31. Okay, that's how many hours I drove. Now, just like when you go on iTunes and you check your library, it tells you how many days of music you have there. I don't know about you guys, but I have days of music. Same thing, right? I want to know how many days of time I was driving. It's not how much, I didn't drive that many days straight, but how many days did I spend on that vacation of my life that I will never get back driving. Kind of like when you work out how many days you spend watching people fall off picket fences and stab their balls on YouTube. So what do I do there to find the days? Kathleen. I divide by 24, which gets me 9.3 something. 222.31 divided by 24. 9.26, yeah. So 9.3, right? 9.26, fine. That's how many days. 9 days. Now, I also drove 0.26 of a day, didn't I? I don't want days, I want hours, right? So what do I got to do to convert days to hours? Remember, same rules. There's no conversion chart for this, is there? I got to multiply by a fraction. What do I want? Hours or days on top? Hours over days. 1 day is 24 hours, yes? So I do 0.26 times 24 because the days cancel and the 1 cancels, right? So 0.26 times 24 is 6.24 hours. So 6 hours. But it was 0.24 of an hour, wasn't it? So I have 0.24 of an hour times, now what do I want? Minutes and hours, right? So minutes over hours. How many hours? 1. How many minutes? 60. The 1 always cancels. The H always cancels. 0.24 times 60. 14 minutes. Now, stop. There's other ways to do this. If you have 9 days, 6 hours, and any amount of minutes from 10 to 20, I'm happy. Okay? Is everyone all right with that? The point of this question, the whole point of this question is this part. Because you were doing conversions without your sheet. Right? It was proving to me that you understand what to do to make a conversion when you don't have the formula. You had to figure it out for yourself. Is everybody cool? Did anybody do a different method here than breaking it down like that? If you did, I would like to hear. If you're too shy and don't wish to share it, that's fine too. I don't care. But it would be nice if you did something differently than me and you would tell me. Then I would have something else to show other kids. Because that's the way I do it. Going once? Going twice? Going thrice? Okay. As long as you're only not saying because you did it exactly like I did, and you're not saying because you think that it's embarrassing. All right. Oh, Carmen?
What I did is that I divided by exactly kind of similar, but I didn't divide by 24 and didn't get the exact same answer. What I did is 9 times 24, which is 269 minus 22.
Oh, I see. You did it that way. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, that makes sense. So you got the 9. You found that 9 days, 216 hours, so you're left with 6.31. Yeah, awesome. No problem with that. Works fine. Cool. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Let's move on then, cabbages. This was the next thing for you guys, yeah? Right? Yes? Okay. So I actually forgot to make a key for this, so I'm going to be believing you guys. You'll tell me an answer. I have a vague idea of what they are because I've been doing this many times, and I'll tell you if you're right or wrong. Cool? Go. Who's got an answer for 1A? Kathleen. 7.1 feet. That sounds about right because that's 2 meters. Yeah, 7.1 feet. I agree. 25 yards. Priyanka, sorry. 22.9 meters. Sounds about right because meters are shorter than yards. Good. I lie. No, meters are longer than yards. Yeah.
You didn't assign that age group.
Didn't I?
You did 16 to 17, and then you did 18 to 19.
18 to 19. I said stop at my trip? Yeah. Wait a minute. Fortunately, I keep my feathers numbered for just such an emergency. So we did the trip. Oh, right. You were supposed to do 16 and 17. Yeah. And then we were going to do this page today. Yeah. Yeah, the florist. Yeah. Okay, my fault. I'm a dunderhead. Not you guys. Oh, yeah, look, there's even where I wrote it so you could read it. Oh, guys. Thanks for being nice to me. Okay, so, what's gone on? So we were here. Okay, so this we can do in our head. 2 meters is 2,000 millimeters. 3 feet is 36 inches. 7.5. 2 miles is 10,560. 10,560. 4.7 centimeters is 47 millimeters. That's 76.5 meters. That's 2 exactly. That is, good gravy. Decimeters, meters, hectometer, or decameters, hectometers, 7.2. Oops, went a little far there. Convert the following to millimeters. That's 35. That's 122, 122. That's 5580. That's 7 yards is 210. 300 or 252 plus 60. 312. Yeah. Okay. 500, 532. 5,320. 8 times 3, 24, 26 feet. Oh, man. Somebody tell me the answer because I want to do it in my head. 312 again? Is it? Oh, yeah, of course, because it's the exact same. 7 yards. Yeah, right. Metric system. Okay, you either have 260 centimeters or you have 2.6 meters. Now, could you be a wise ass and have 0.000026 kilometers? You could. Did any of you wise ass me around on this? It almost makes me sad. I like it when somebody does that. Well, really, Mr. Myers, it's 0.00026 kilometers. This is either 5.008 kilometers or 5,008 meters. Or 500.8 hectometers. Or so on, or so on, or so on. Now, it turns out there were more questions that should have been there that said, do these in the imperial system. That's why the first one says metric, and then this we go to imperial. But they got erased somehow in the printing process. So these are just imperial. So 2 miles is 10,560 feet, plus 7,000 feet is 17,560 feet, right? Did I do that right? Please notice I'm doing this in my head. I apologize if I'm wrong. Please don't get angry with me if I screw it up. That's 22 feet and 15 inches, which is 23 feet 2 inches. That's 8 yards minus 3 yards is 5 yards, but 1 foot minus 2 feet is going to go, so I'm at 5 yards, 1 foot, minus 2 more feet becomes 4 yards. 4 yards, 1 foot. Right? Is that right? What'd you guys write there? Is that right? Oh, you went to feet. Cool. Yeah, that's probably smarter. Yeah, that's way smarter. I'm a dummy head. So that's 25 feet minus 11 feet, which is 14 feet. That makes way more sense. Which is 3 feet, 2 yards, or is 4 yards, 2 feet. Priyanka. Oh, so you converted them? Yeah, it's fine. It was my typing that screwed it up. All right. So if you converted these in metric, then you would have had 14 feet and then converted that to meters, which is 14 divided by 0.3048. Yeah, don't worry about it. It's my screw up. Don't worry. Can you do it? Can you make conversions? Then I'm happy. Did everybody keep doing these in metric because of the way I typed it? Because I'm an idiot? Well, I lie. The way it printed. Because if you saw my actual original file, you would see that it does there say, do these in the Imperial System. So if you change to Imperial, then no big deal. That's 76 inches minus 47 inches, which is 36 minus 7, which is 29 inches. 2 miles minus 1,000 feet is 9,560 feet. And 9 feet minus 10 inches is 108 minus 10, 98 inches. Cool? And if you did metric, if you really care, while you're working today, I'll go back and I'll actually do the metric and you can see if you did it right. But I only need to check 1 or 2, right? Because if you did 1 or 2 right, you know what you're doing. All right, the florist. This is one of those questions that messes with you if you don't do it right. So what did you do for this question? There's 5 yards of ribbon, 10 inches per bouquet. What do you do? Priyanka. So you did 5 times 36 to get inches, which is 180, yes?
And then I divided that by 10.
Uh-huh.
And then you get
18
18.
bouquets. Everybody happy? Easy peasy. No problem. Right? What if the answer was a decimal? What if it worked out to 18.8? It would still be 18. What if it worked out to 17.9? It would still be 17. In math class, that's 18, isn't it? But in the real world, you're not completing the 18th bouquet. Right? Oh, it stopped. Excellent. This is a real life situation because the last time I flew somewhere, I didn't read this until the day of the flight. We were driving out the door. My buddy says, that bag looks too big. No, it's fine. Did you measure it? Fine, I'll measure it. And I measured and it was too big and I'm too cheap to pay. So I actually had to go and get a different bag on the day we were leaving to make our flight. A friend of mine, back in the day, they didn't used to measure your luggage. They only weighed your luggage. A friend of mine was flying back from Ontario. He went to Queen's University, so he had to take all his winter clothes, but you fly back in spring, so he had all his winter clothes in his suitcase, but his suitcase was too heavy, and because you're a student and you're poor, he couldn't make it on the flight. They were going to charge him extra. So he took his suitcase and he put all his clothes on. Like 10 layers. And he walked on like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. He took a picture of himself. It was funny. That guy is now super famous. He can fly his own planes. Have you seen the movie The F Word? None of you have. With Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter, The F Word. He's the guy that wrote that movie. And he just sold a book for $1 million. And nobody had even read the book. He hadn't even written it. He told some people, I have an idea for a story. And they were like, that sounds awesome. I will give you $1 million if I can make that movie. And he said, yeah. Yes, same guy. Yeah, it's that guy. Elan Mastai. He was just on CTV Morning yesterday. Toronto CTV Morning, like the whole country watched him. He filmed my wedding. I know. One day he'll be super famous. I'll be like, that guy filmed my wedding. I haven't seen him in like 10 years. We were like best buddies, though. Anyway, he's the guy that put on all his clothes. I just repacked, but he wore all his clothes. Okay, so will the airline accept my luggage? Yes or no? No. As I write yes. No. Why? Because 2 feet 3 inches is 27. 2 feet is 24. 1 foot 4 inches is 16. That is 67 inches. They will not accept it. Which kind of makes me angry because they're a plane. you should be able to bring your luggage without charging extra. One day, I want to go and get on a plane in just a Speedo. Because I'm like, you guys, I'm going to a beach. You're going to charge me for luggage. I'm just going to wear this all vacation. And then we'll see what they do. I bet they let me bring my bag on the plane for free then, Stanley. I bet. Have you seen that Simpsons where Homer goes to Brazil and he puts on a Speedo? Super funny. If you haven't seen it, Google Homer Simpson in a Speedo. But be careful. You don't know what's going to come up. It's a funny episode, though, when Homer goes to Brazil and puts on a Speedo. I've always been told that people everywhere else in the world still wear Speedos. But every time I go somewhere else in the world, people aren't wearing Speedos. And when I was in Europe, there were people swimming. Nobody was wearing a Speedo. But I don't know why people don't wear Speedos. Because girls, your bathing suits that you wear, are they like the shorts that guys wear to swim in? No, right? They're tight to your body and they hold on to your body because you don't want to be covered in a bunch of wet fabric. You're cold, right? Dudes wear these giant basketball shorts and they go swimming and they weigh 30 pounds and they hang off their bodies. They're like, oh, I'm so cold. Well, no wonder you're cold. You're standing in a sponge. The sun is shining on you. You're totally dry and your bathing suit is dripping everywhere because it's soaking wet. You guys didn't have to grow up with Speedos. I grew up in the big Speedo to shorts changeover. Like when I was 7 and 8 years old, every kid still wore Speedos, all the boys. And then in about grade 4 or 5, it switched to shorts. But they didn't make bathing suit shorts, so people would wear like regular shorts swimming, which are even heavier and lamer. And then people wonder why they're cold. Wisdom. That being said, you have to have quite an amount of confidence to actually wear a Speedo. But if you do decide that you have enough confidence to go wear a Speedo swimming, you will not believe how much warmer you feel. True story. Moving on. This question is kind of difficult because you have to think about it. What's the length of the new piece of wire? Pardon? 82 inches. How did you come to that? Because I'm not saying if it is right or wrong. What did you do? There's wire 1 and wire 2. So what'd you do? You converted them. How long is wire 1? 25 inches, yeah? 27 inches. How long is wire 2? 56 inches. So when you put them together, you would get 83, right? But they overlap by 1, so you got to pull one back by 1 inch, right? Everybody good? This is what it looks like. 27, 56, but this is really 26, right? Really? You 100% agree that it is 56 plus 26?
Oh.
100%. I can't fool anybody anymore. You guys are too smart. Okay. So now you got to do the page that I assigned yesterday, that I thought I assigned yesterday but didn't, which is for you guys page, if I'm not mistaken, 20 and 21. There is a typo on page 21. Don't be wise asses. It's a typo, okay? Spell check didn't pick it up because the word trick is a word. If you're already done, then you get to relax because it's Friday. Yes. And you were going to ask if you were already done? Good. The typo is in question 5. You are not driving a trick. You are driving a truck. But spell check doesn't pick it up because trick is a word. What? Oh, you wanted to see those answers, didn't you? All right. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for you. So you guys are all working. I'm doing this, and then I'll be back with you in a second. Priyanka, do you need to see all of them, or will you trust yourself if I do a couple and you see that you are right? Do you like two? Which two letters would you like me to do? I will do the ones you wish to see. It doesn't matter. I just pick letters at random. I'm going to do E and G? Sure. So, because you kept them as metric too, right? Okay. So, did you go to meters and centimeters? Did you go to meters and centimeters? Centimeters? Davneet? Centimeters? Okay. So if you went to centimeters, so this becomes, the way I personally would do this would be 8 times 36 would be 300 inches, right? I'm doing C. Or E, sorry. I would do 300 inches minus 132, which would get me 168 inches, which I would then convert to centimeters to get 426.72 centimeters, which would be 4.26 meters. So you went to feet, and then you added a foot, so you had 25 feet. So you had 25 feet, and then you subtracted 17 feet, yeah? Or not 17, sorry, 11. We are doing surface area next.
But at the same time, I'm gonna.
So yeah, 25 and 11. So you did, well, why did you do plus? It's minus.
No, because I added that foot. So
Okay, so yeah, but then right here you wrote 25 plus 11 to get 36 feet.
Oh.
And it's a minus.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's gonna be
14 feet.
14, and then
Okay,
Can
so
you
that
check
was your
if
mistake.
The rest are kind of right.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so you change miles to feet, feet to meters. So that's basically 2.5 miles plus, it's basically 3.5 miles, which would be 5 kilometers. Yep. That's 13 feet, and 11 feet is 24 feet, which would be about 7 meters. Yep. You know what's wrong there. 6 feet, 6 1/3 minus 4 is 2 1/3. 2 1/3 feet. That's wrong. 2 1/3 feet is not going to be 3 meters. That's a mistake. G, 2 miles minus 1,000 feet. So it's still basically 2 miles, which would be about 3K. That's right. And 9 feet. Basically 9 feet minus 1 foot is 8 feet. 8 feet is about, I don't think that's right.
Because wouldn't you take the foot and then just turn it into inches? And
98
then
minus.
I keep doing that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I
Minus.
just need to subtract.
Yeah, it would have been 98. And then this is right. Your conversion's right. You just did that wrong.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Is that green? What is it?
It's not. It's actually.
What's it made of?
It's just fruits and vegetables.
But what fruits and vegetables?
It's apple juice, mango mango puree, pineapple.
Is there spinach involved?
Yeah.
That's why. Okay.
There's alfalfa, broccoli.
Ooh, yum.
Wheatgrass, wheatgrass. I like the orange.
Wheatgrass, alfalfa.
Wait, sorry. Same on the bottom.
No, because guinea pigs eat alfalfa. My kids made me buy them guinea pigs. That was the stupidest thing I ever did. No, we kept them. One of them died after we had it for a year, and the other one lives in my daughter's kindergarten class now. They love it. Ferrets are evil.
They smell.
Evil. Please check your answers against mine. Anybody need to talk about the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? I'm waiting, Kathleen. Relax. No need to get it uppity. I'm just, holy crap. I'm not even saying anything. I'm going to have to ban apologizing in this class.
Say sorry for your.
You shouldn't. You should save it for when you're really sorry about something. Overusing something devalues it. It's like the boy who cried wolf. So now, I know you were. If you were to come in here and kick my wire and knock my computer on the ground and break it into a million pieces, that would be something you say sorry for. Not returning my eraser, we can probably just, how about you give me the eraser back? Okay, no problem. You understand? She wants to say sorry for something she didn't even do. She didn't even take my eraser, and she's apologizing for not returning it. Knowing is half the battle, Ayessa. Which, if any of you know anything about old cartoons, that was what they said at the end of every G.I. Joe cartoon when they gave you the little talking to. At the end of old cartoons, the characters from the cartoon would come on screen and they would teach you a little lesson. G.I. Joe did it. He-Man did it. She-Ra did it. But none of you know who G.I. Joe, He-Man, or She-Ra are. Do you? Which one? G.I. Joe, He-Man, or She-Ra, or all three? You know G.I. Joe and He-Man? You don't know She-Ra? She-Ra was He-Man's cousin from another planet because girls need heroes too. So they had the whole He-Man thing, by the power of Grayskull. But then, girls needed toys too, so they made She-Ra toys. And She-Ra didn't say, by the power of Grayskull. She-Ra said, by the spirit of Grayskull. And she didn't have Battle Cat, she had a unicorn. Spirit, the unicorn. In case, just for fun, that was She-Ra. Her. As opposed to He-Man. But they were cousins or something. I can't remember the exact thing. I don't really know how they were cousins, but they were from different planets. That was a little weird to me. Like that is the definition of a distant cousin. Somebody stop me. Oh, that's going to have been recorded. So if your parents watch, yes, this is what we do in pre-diploma Math 10. We learn about 1980s cartoons. Everyone's okay with this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Sweet. Moving along. There's the next ones. 11 yards, 93 miles, 55.9 centimeters, 165.1 centimeters, and 762 miles. Everybody okay there? Now, as I was just discussing with my good friends Priyanka and Ayessa, if you are looking for a shortcut, make sure you actually know what you're doing. Because you don't always need to write out the whole fraction, right? You know it's always going to be multiply or divide, right? When you write the fraction out, If the extra number is in the numerator, it's multiply. If the extra number is in the denominator, it's divide. Gouda? Nice. All right. Now, number 5. 2 different answers. If you convert the truck to meters, it comes out at 2.29. Oh yeah, it'll fit with 1 centimeter to spare. If you convert the bridge to meters, the truck almost fits. Right? 2.29, you want to round that up to 3. It doesn't fit. If you convert this way, it's 7.5. Your truck is 7.54 feet. 7 foot 6 inches, exactly 7.5. Your truck will not fit. Okay? The bridge is 7 foot 6 inches. If I convert that to meters, that's 2.29 meters, right? And the truck is 2.3 meters. 2.3 is higher than 2.29. So the truck will not fit. No. And over here, it won't fit by 0.04 of an inch. You don't drive under it. Okay? Now, sometimes there's conversion questions where it's this close, and depending on which way you convert, sometimes it'll be like it will fit, and sometimes it will be like it won't fit. What would cause that? Why could you get to, yes or no here? Or not this question, but for some, Anthony? Yeah, it's all in the rounding. Okay? Where you round to. Some of you, I'll give you questions on quizzes and tests that could go both ways. Some of you will say, yeah, it'll fit. Some of you will say, no, it won't fit. When I'm marking that, I'm not looking for whether you said yes or no. I'm looking for the process that it took to get you there. Do you understand what I am saying? If I were marking this question, what is highlighted right now isn't what I'm marking. What I'm marking is this stuff to make sure you're doing the concept correctly. Everybody with me? Okay, next one. It's that many meters and that many meters. Any questions? If you ever want to see the calculation that I've done, if I haven't done it, just ask. Okay? Meters and yards is a tricky one because a meter and a yard are almost the same distance. So it's hard to remember which is which. Like when you do miles and kilometers, it's, oh, right, miles are way longer than kilometers, so there's going to be less of them. And the Tennessee, depending on which one you converted, the Tennessee is longer by either 50.57 kilometers or 31.43 miles, depending on which one you converted. Again, do I care that much about the decimal? If you have 50.569, 50.55, I don't care, right? Because really when you think about it, 0.55 and 0.56 of a kilometer is 10 meters difference. If I'm running a 10 kilometer run and that wall is the 10 kilometer and I stop here, have I run 10 kilometers? Not technically, but what am I telling all my friends? That I ran 10 kilometers, right? Everybody okay? All right, the next question is actually a tiny bit tricky. I'm not going to show you, although I did realize halfway through writing it that it was on the screen and somebody probably saw it. The next question is tricky. Why?
It's kind of a stupid question to think about it because there's, never mind, sorry. I did that completely wrong.
Okay. Why is the next one tricky, Karina? Because it involves price, right? You're comparing prices of 2 different units, yes? So you have to make one of those, you have to make the units the same, yeah? So what I did was I took the store which was selling it by the yard, right? And 89 cents for a yard is 0.9144 of a meter. So it's 89 cents for 0.9144 of a meter, right? But to compare meters to meters, I need to know what the store was selling at for 1 meter. So then I do another comparison where I have my price per yard, and this is 1 yard, and I compare it to what it is in meters. So right now, I didn't know this price, did I? And it's exactly the same thing that we were doing with conversions. You got to multiply the fraction, right? So if I multiply this fraction, 0.9144, right, multiplies with this, and 0.89 multiplies with x, I got to find x. Now the shortcut to doing that is you cross multiply. 0.89 times 1 divided by 0.9144. And you get an answer of 93 cents. Or was it 97? It was 97, sorry. 97 cents. So the store is selling, yes, they're selling 89 cents for a yard, so it seems cheaper. But when you actually look at it, it's 97 cents for a meter. So you want to buy from the warehouse. I was just going to say, there's totally a million ways to do this question. What I'm looking for when you do it is, at some point, you have to make sure you're comparing meters to meters. If you have that somewhere in your work, you would get full marks. Understand? But I'm not trying to interrupt you. I want to hear what you said. I just want to tell you that I'm aware there's more than one way to do it. And unlike some teachers, like my daughter keeps getting science tests back that she's written not the exact sentence the teacher wants. And she's gotten the question wrong. Right? All matter is made up of, my daughter wrote atoms. The teacher wanted her to say particles. And he marked it wrong. She got less than perfect on a science test. I'm not that guy. Understand? That's why I want you to show me work. So I asked her, what did you do?
I did 0.89 divided by 0.9144.
So yeah, you just did it. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's all you end up doing over here. When you do that cross multiply, that's exactly what you end up doing. The reason I like to show the cross multiplying is sometimes there might not be a 1 there. Right? Because it works in math, it always works. So let's say you were faced with this algebraic equation, 17 over 0.9144 times x over 12. Then it's not just that divided by that. You got to remember there's a 12 there. But because the 1 is there, you can do exactly what you did. Right? And the basketball net, how high did he have to jump? 28-ish inches, which is a pretty decent vertical. My very first year I taught here, there was a kid, I taught grade 9, and we were doing a question about vertical jump. And the kid said I was too fat and old to jump higher than him. And I said, no problem, Rob. Come on up to the front. We got ourselves some pens. We reached up on the board, on the wall. We put a little line. Then we jumped. And Rob put his line up there. Rob had an okay vertical. He's like, you're fat and old. You'll never jump that high. Kicked his ass. So then I went to the wall with a Sharpie and I wrote his name, the date, and his vertical. Then I wrote my name, the date, and my vertical, and my age. And it was still in that building for 7 years. Everybody who taught in there, I said, what the hell is that? And the kids would be like, oh, that's when Myers kicked Rob's ass when he jumped higher than him. Oh, hey, look. That box is staying with me. How long will it stay there, I wonder? It's still there. What if I erase it here? Will it erase back up there? It won't erase at all. Wow. Quality. Microsoft quality. And people wonder why people buy Apple. I don't want to start anything new today. It's Friday. Let's have some gummy bears.